I think the only answer to how do you care for yourself in moments when you're super, super busy and stressed and pulled in many directions.
It's just like I'm doing it in my mind. I have a full porn library.
Once I saw that DM, I was like, oh, shoot, I got to work on this now.
It kind of looked like a white people parade
I
in
also
the last
definitely
recently
have songs that turn me on, like
porn
almost
songs.
immediately.
And then I was like, this is becoming a problem.
Hey, welcome back. We're Not For Everyone. We're a podcast hosted by a hater and a lover. We're happy you're here.
Just, I have a confession to make.
Please.
I think I have a hot therapist.
You have a male therapist, or is this a
No,
hot woman?
no, it's a hot woman. It's a hot woman. So sexist
Okay,
of
but you
you.
can't trust hot people, right? So it's still bad.
Did I say I can't trust hot people?
No, that's just my projection, I think,
Oh,
onto your story.
you're saying you can't trust hot
Yeah,
people.
but let me let you talk. Let me let you finish your story.
Yeah, I think I kind of have a hot therapist. And so far, it's sitting okay with me. Actually, I kind of think I would like to applaud her. I think she's like the perfect amount of hot. Like, I want to say I want to be around her and her hot wisdom, but
Oh,
it's not so hot that it's a problem.
can
She
you elaborate?
really, yeah, I mean, I love beauty. I love it. I want to be near it. I want it to be around me. I want wise people in my life to also have it. Like, this is not something I'm growing out of. I'm not working on this. This is here to stay. Um and she has it. And she's probably mid 40s, maybe later 40s, and she's very elegant and very beautiful.
Mhm.
Maybe the more appropriate word is beautiful.
Mhm.
It's not overdone. She's not going too hard on it, but I want to say like she knows what she's doing. And I feel like it's got to be really comforting to most people. I think it would be comforting to men, to women, to all orientations. And then she also has like she's just killing it with the therapist look.
Mhm.
It's pretty corp. Oh, what the hell is that? It just stopped recording.
Fook.
Hold on. Wait, no, leave yours. Oh, wait.
Okay, mine is still recording.
Okay, Abby, mine stopped recording for a second, so you're gonna have to sync up here.
I'm at
Jess, you would
312.
okay. Jess just said she's at 312. Okay. Um, yeah, she also like dresses the part really well, very professional and like could fit in a corporate setting, but then there's like a little hint of a flowy skirt or like a slightly oversized chemise or some shit.
Not a
Like it's
chemise,
just
not a
it's a
chemise.
fucking shucking chemise. Give me a chemise and I am in. It's just like there's just a little hint of motherly, whimsical earth mom
Mhm.
ceramics teacher thrown in there, but the rest is pretty bad. It's not too kooky. Yeah, like the hair is done properly, but then there's just like a wisp or two.
You have been describing this for a long time.
Okay, I mean, I'm really taken with it. Doesn't that
No, I
sound good to you?
I guess my point is like we've both been listening, like you've been describing and I've been listening, and I've kind of been waiting for the moment where I get it, and I still don't get it. I
Okay.
mean, I
What part don't
definitely
you get?
get that she's
Do
hot and
you want me to tell
beautiful.
you more about what she looks like? No, what
I
do you
want to
not get?
know. No, no,
What do
no.
you not get? What do
I
you
can
not get?
I can picture her clearly. I think I'm good on
Okay.
that. Yeah, very
Okay.
good description. Very detail oriented, very she sounds beautiful. I
Thank
guess
you.
my question is like, what's that do for your therapy experience? Or is that not the point? Are you just observing a hot person?
I think it's both. I think I'm
Okay.
partially just observing a hot person as I'm inclined to do. I've been my friend Tessa likes to call me out on like I have a pretty rabid like staring problem. I stare at beautiful people a
Mm.
lot. It's often women. And it's not a
Yeah.
sexual attraction, just like I like to look. The fuck, like who doesn't like this? Who doesn't like that? But it's been a problem. I don't know. There's something that I don't rein in that I think other people rein in, where I won't stop the unblinking stare, and it's to the point
Mm.
where I've gotten called out multiple times in public by strangers. This one time, I was like on the New York subway. The subway was a real danger zone for me, just like sitting on a long ride to the Bronx, staring at, whatever New York model is sitting across from you. And I was going hard into staring at this girl. And all of a sudden, she started talking to her boyfriend or friend, whoever was next to her, was just like, she won't stop looking at me. And like she was
Yeah.
calling me out.
That's
And
awful. Oh
it
my
was
God.
mortifying. It was mortifying. And I all of a sudden was like, what do I do now? I tried to just like,
Whew.
I tried to pull it off as first of all, I did not turn away. That's a mistake because then you admit, then it's a confession if you turn away. So I just kept staring. And tried to kind of blur my eyes like I was looking,
Mm.
through her, just off
Past
into
her.
the abyss, past her. And I kind of thought about saying something. I didn't end up, she kind of kept heckling me and I kind of pretended to continue not to hear. It was a pretty painful subway ride. But
Well,
eventually, what I wanted to do, I wanted to hurt her back and I wanted to get up. I thought about getting up and being like, I'm so sorry. That I was staring at you, like you just look so much like
no.
my sister who passed away a few
Oh
months
my
ago.
God.
And then just walking away. That was the way I thought I would redeem myself, but I'm a
That would have
pussy.
been
So
a good one.
I
Yeah,
think
I
that would
do
have been
think
really,
that's
yeah,
that's the right approach as opposed
I
to
think,
there's meaner things you could have done. That's not mean. It just like cuts enough to be like, how
yes.
dare you mortify me in
How,
public?
how
I'm going
dare
through shit.
you, right? How dare you stand up for your right to privacy and defy my right to stare?
Right to privacy doesn't apply to being in public and looking hot. If you're looking hot in public, I've said this on the podcast before.
I know, but who
I'll
likes to be
see it.
stared at? But that's a prop. But like women complain about that. If a man,
Yeah.
I was gonna say I'm not as lascivious as a man, but I actually probably am.
Yeah, you're undressing them with your eyes
I'm
slowly.
absolutely undressing her.
Okay, so yeah, you
Like
appreciate hotness.
if a guy was gawking at me, I'd be pissed.
I It depends. If I'm in a low place and
Depends
somebody's
how hot they
gawking
are.
at me, yeah, it depends how hot they are. And it depends on my level of insecurity in that moment and like my need
Sure.
for that type of validation.
That's true because you can take the stare and be like, "Oh, they're staring at me because I look hideous," or they're staring at me because I
Yes.
must have something in my teeth. Or sometimes you take the stare and you're like, "It's because I'm the best thing they've ever seen."
Yeah, totally. Exactly. So I don't know. I'm kind of like, I'm not bothered by staring. We're all human. We all do it sometimes. It sounds like you have a particular issue with it, which, like,
Yeah, I'm
at
sick.
least awareness is the first step in healing or
Oh
something.
no, I'm not. No, I'm not trying to work on it.
You're not working on it. Well,
I'm
okay.
not
So
working
then
on it.
that's the thing that I'm still struggling with.
Okay.
If your therapist wasn't as hot, would you still be going to her?
Totally. I've seen ugly therapists before, for sure. You know what? I actually see a lot of value in the ugly, but I
That's so
um
reassuring. Thank you.
I
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty enlightened. But um but I think I'm more just admiring like the costume that she dons
Mm,
as a therapist. I want to ask her about it because I feel like having being too hot as a therapist is not going to be kind of an effective environment, I would assume, for all these broken people coming to see you.
it's
But
distracting.
I think there's a sweet spot where like a certain amount of beauty is comforting and we also attribute a lot of qualities to beauty, qualities
Yes.
that beauty doesn't deserve, like, oh, maybe they're kind, or maybe they're smart, or maybe that, there's a lot of like projecting other positive qualities onto beauty for no good
Yeah.
reason. We just do that usually. So I and that paired with how she dresses, like she's just nailed it. I feel like she's nailed the uniform. Um,
Proud of her.
and it's just interesting to me. Yeah, I think like sometimes makes me think not just how her face looks, but like how she does her hair and how she dresses. Like if I was a therapist, would I start dressing a little
Mm.
more like Willow Mama? You know what I mean? Or
My
I think I
therapist
do.
is very like kooky. I mean, granted, she's in her 70s, but
Yeah,
she's a pretty woman and like I'm sure was a hottie in her heyday. I hear a lot of her
yeah.
stories of her haughty antics. So I feel like that
Okay.
just comes with the territory.
That's
But
so
yeah, she's
funny.
very like curly hair, like kind of curly, like Miss Frizzle type of hair from
Yes.
Magic School Bus, and
Also very
glasses.
comforting. I think that's also a good
Totally.
therapist uniform. Yeah,
And like
correct.
flowy, like sweaters that
They
are kind of like shawls that like wrap her,
right,
and
totally.
long skirts and like
What's she got in
florals.
her ears? What she got hanging from her ears?
She's got some dangly ass earrings every time I
Yeah,
see them,
fuck
like
yeah, she
beads,
does.
some
Yeah, she
beads.
fucking does. Some beads, yeah.
They all like went to New Mexico and had a
Who's they?
spiritual awakening. The
Who?
therapists.
Oh,
They
okay.
must have. They're dressed
Yeah,
like
they
Albuquerque style. But
they
like,
start dressing the part. I feel like
yeah.
people do that. People start dressing the part of their career even outside of office hours a lot of the time.
So now I'm trying to evaluate myself and people I know and think about if they, in their career, in their industry, kind of dress the part too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I mean, it's hard.
Yeah.
I guess corporate is corporate, and maybe you can't split up the difference between somebody in tech and the difference from somebody in law just by how they dress.
I
That's not
think
true.
there are distinctions between those two. Between those
Yeah.
two, because in tech, it's more like you
Vests.
have a little more clout if you're in more hoodies,
Yep.
or if you kind of trying less hard, if you also are like very skilled, is kind of the
Yes.
aesthetic, has been for a while. And in
Sneakers with a
law, it's
suit.
definitely different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I dressed very differently when I was bartending, as to when I was babysitting, as to when I was in tech.
I feel like
Yeah.
I dress differently every day, and I'm me doing the same things every day.
Yeah.
But I don't really know if I have, this is something I've been thinking about a lot recently. Maybe entering, I'm 32, so no longer entering, but entering my 30s and onward. I feel like I started to think about like, do I have personal style? And like, what is my style?
Oh my
And
God, yes, you do. Wait. Oh, you have one of like the most defined personal styles. You have such
I
good style.
do. I know I
Yes,
have good
literally,
style, but do I
Sheila
have an
and I,
identifiable style?
yes, Sheila and I want to say used to talk shit, but it wasn't shit. We used to talk hype. We used to talk hype about it in
You're
high
joking.
school.
I
No,
don't think
I
this applied to high
specifically,
school.
no, 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 no. I specifically remember this in high school where um I think what the fuck were I can't remember the context, but Sheila was using you specifically as an example of someone who dressed it the fuck up the right way.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
an honor and a
Yeah.
pleasure.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It was a
It's a
pleasure for
pleasure.
me. It's a pleasure. It's a
I do
pleasure to
know
be
that I
me.
it is a pleasure to be me. I do know that I have a sense of style. Like I know what looks good. I know how to put on an outfit and be like, this complements my body. It's like shapes that go well together, colors that go well together, whatever, whatever. I know how to do that. It's
Yeah.
just more like some people more closely identify to like similar with interior design, and like some videos you've talked about
Mm,
this in some videos where people want to associate with like I'm boho or
a
I'm
very clearly defined
this,
label.
I'm that. And
Yeah.
I don't think I can identify to any one type of style. And so one day I'll dress up and be very like blazer and turtleneck and like super like chic corporate mama. And then the next day I'll be
Hmm.
in like a denim jumpsuit with Converse and be more of like a
Yeah.
grungy chick. And I mean, I like that. I don't think I have to stop doing it or anything, but I
No, I
do
think that's
sometimes
pretty
think about it
desirable.
as
Yeah.
like, oh, do I not have a sense of direction, a sense of personal style that's like mine?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I don't, I guess I would ask, like, why do you need that? If
Yeah.
you, I feel like the things you wear, you're not wearing, my impression is not that you're wearing a bunch of different things in order to like appeal to certain people. You're just best dressing based on your mood. And if you're
Yeah.
dressing based on your mood, that makes total sense to me. I love that. I feel a bit that way. I think I maybe have like three main lanes kind of that I dress in.
Mm-hmm.
And they can all be very different, but maybe it's just like three at this point. I like that.
Can
They're
I guess them?
complex. Oh
Can I
yeah,
guess your
guess them.
lanes? And you can
Yeah,
guess
guess my
mine.
lanes.
Okay.
Okay, I don't actually know if I have an answer defined, but you go and I'll react.
Okay. I don't know if I have three yet, but I know one of them. Okay. They maybe, they probably overlap. It's not like these are
Hmm.
so distinct from each other,
This
but
is
I
high
think
pressure. Yeah, don't fuck
there's a
this up.
difference between like preppy Caroline, um, and then like more like almost like girly, feminine, playful Caroline.
So
And
far, so good.
then maybe like does sporty count, or is that different because it's like sometimes it's like going to the gym, you're obviously not going to wear your regular clothes, but I think sporty is still a style that you
I
sometimes would
think you
wear,
hit
not
it.
even just going to the gym. I think those are the three.
I think those are the three. I will say, yeah, I think those are the three I was thinking of. Elizabeth refers to my preppy style as young Republican,
Yes, yes,
which
yes, yes,
is
yes.
completely correct. Sometimes, or like 30% of the time, I'm dressing like a young Republican new mom.
You are
Um,
so active at the college Republicans meetings. You come with
yes,
your with your
yes.
binder ready to fucking picket the neighborhood. Yeah.
Or well, I think one of the brands my manager was corresponding with, my manager passed on that they referred to me as a foul-mouthed Samantha doll.
Oh my
You know,
God, that's
Samantha, the
amazing.
American Girl doll. I was like, that I love that. And then sweet, sweet, cute, sweet, cute, sweet, cute. I
Yep.
like that look. And then something like boyish. Like there's a part of me that's always loved dressing kind of like a boy. It's had different manifestations through the years, but I still really like that. One, okay, I'm gonna do your
Okay.
okay, let me do yours. Let me do yours. Okay. I would say um elevated club, like hitting the club, but
It's not
it's
trashy.
um it's not trashy. It's like a little more trendy, like stylish
Yep.
is one. Um, I think your version of sporty or like my tomboy look is your, I would assume, I think we'll call it ugly night because that's like what you wear, like sweatpant, chill. You refer to as your ugly night, what
Mm-hmm.
you talked about on the pod.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other, I would guess, is your like corporate look, which I feel like you actually have more looks than that, but
Yeah.
that one is like a sexy nutritionist who's doing
Oh
like a speaking
my
event.
God.
Oh
I
my
work hand in
God.
hand with your hot therapist to transform the lives of young millennials.
How does that line up with your internal
That's
feeling?
that's pretty good. I think the only one that's missing is this like rocker grungy edgy look
Oh,
that I
I don't think
sometimes introduce.
I've seen it that much.
Okay, I've said that to my friends and they like it was a pretty recent conversation and they kind of gawked at me and were like, "You're not edgy." And I was like, "Honey, you don't know edge." So I don't know if I'm describing, I think I might be describing it a little bit more intense than it actually is, but I more
Yeah, it
so
sounds pretty
mean
hard.
like
It sounds hard as fuck. It sounds
I
so
more
hard.
so mean I throughout college I had these like terrible black boots that had like metal grommets on them and were
Yikes.
very like
The
punk
fuck is a
rock.
grommet? What's a grommet?
It's like those, I think that's what they're called, like studs. Isn't that a grommet?
Okay. Wow. This was in
In
college?
college, and I wore it with everything, and I'd wear like a torn up t-shirt and like black
Bro.
jeans and these like
What?
studded boots.
That's funny
Yeah.
because you didn't dress like that in high school. You don't really dress like that now. So
No.
you just had like something happened in the in between.
Something happened when I was in
Something's
Baltimore.
happened.
And then I do think that that
Oh,
like
that's the Baltimore
exists.
coming
That's
out.
the Baltimore coming out.
That's,
I do think that still exists like in a very gentle ounce in my style now where I'll have
yeah.
like just a bag that's studded or earrings or like
Ooh.
I mean I do wear a lot of black and I'll go with like a
Okay.
distressed look a lot of the times.
Yeah.
So yeah, whatever that
Don't
is.
let go of her. I like that. That little touch of dirty grommet in each of us.
Exactly. We can't let go of her. We can't let go of her. But yeah, I think you did pretty good. Those are my
Okay.
categories. I would say the like corporate one, maybe we'll call her college Democrat and you're college Republican.
College Democrat. Yeah.
She's a little more progressive with her style,
With the
but
style,
still corporate.
style
Style
only.
only.
I
Style
just like
only.
the aesthetic. I just like the aesthetic.
I
Yeah.
know, it looks good on you. Should we address
Thank you.
that I've been sipping wine this whole time? I just feel like for the YouTube watchers, they're like,
Let's
Jess is just
address.
casually picking up her wine
Oh, I have
glass
my
without telling
cocktail.
us.
Yeah,
Cheers.
more
It's Friday happy
importantly,
hour.
cheers, bitches. I have so many things to say. Do any of them matter?
Have the floor. They matter to me, and I have very few things to say. So I'll
I was
let
gonna
you
say,
keep
okay, I
going.
already feel like I steamrolled the first conversation, so I was gonna open it up. You want me to keep steamrolling? I can.
Keep steamrolling. I hope that I didn't make you feel that way by telling you that you were talking about your therapist's beauty for a long time. It's just that it was a long time to be talking about.
Okay, I'll say this. It did make me feel bad, and it didn't stop me from talking about it. So how bad did I really feel?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, now Justin just popped into the frame, and I need to address the other thing you did for a really long time.
Oh no.
Before we started recording, we were like on Zoom with each other, but hadn't started recording the podcast yet. And Caroline's like, "Oh, Justin just got here. Let me say hi." Of course, no problem. So she gets up. I overhear little whispers of like, "I missed you. I missed you. I missed you," from both of them. This is mutual, which we love to see. And they're like embracing, and I kind of get like just the edge of them embracing on the camera. And then finally she comes back, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize that you haven't seen each other in like a year. They haven't even known each other for a year." She's like, "Oh no, we saw each other yesterday." So that was another thing you were doing for a long time.
For a long time. I did eventually realize that I didn't like mute the mic or turn off the camera. And I was just like, oh, Jess is just gonna have to grin and bear it.
I was like, I feel like I'm intruding on something, but I also can't look away.
No, I wanted you to watch. Obviously, I wanted you
Yeah,
to watch.
that's
Yeah,
true.
I wanted you to
Anyway,
watch.
that was clear.
Thank you. I did share, I definitely have a bunch of like voyeurist fantasies. I don't know if I would like them in reality. But actually this week I was sharing more. Justin knows a lot about different sexual fantasies I've shared with him, but the ones I've shared, people think I've shared weird shit on the podcast. That's the stuff I'm allowed to talk about. Like most of the stuff can't go on the air. That's the stuff I've decided is fine. So we got into a deeper conversation this past week, which I was like, whatever, nervous about, and he was on board. He was like into it, and then I got too comfortable and I shared one thing, and he just goes, "Well, I cannot condone that."
He's
and
so
then
formal.
he's very formal. He's very formal. And then we just moved on. Sometimes he is formal, sometimes he has this mode where I call robot butler. Sometimes he
Oh,
goes into
that makes
robot.
it hotter if it's a butler.
Totally. Yeah. Get those white gloves on for me. um yeah, no, we're pathetic. It's pathetic right now. It's pretty pathetic,
It's
but
sweet.
it's pretty
It's sweet,
nice.
I
I'm happy
think.
about it. I won't apologize.
No, that wasn't the intention. It was more just so that I didn't have to process that alone. I thought I'd bring everyone along. Yeah. Okay, so go for it. You said you wanted to steamroll more, so let's fucking do it. Roll on over
Sure.
me. What
Okay,
did I
I'm gonna
say
start this.
earlier? Never
When
mind.
you're what? While you're what?
I said roll on over me just now, and then I was like,
Oh
what did I
no,
say
earlier
earlier
you
that was
said
egregious?
earlier you said, oh, what did you say? Let it rip. And I was like, I
Oh,
think that euphemism, is it a euphemism? Is it an idiom? I think that only refers to tootin', right?
it refers, I think its etymology is rooted in
Justin
tootin'.
says no. Justin, shush.
Well, okay, if you've watched The Bear, which is this great show
I
on
haven't. I've
Hulu,
heard good things.
it's great. It's like a Chicago story, and it's about whatever, not important right now. Anyway, the letter rip is like a whole thing in the
I love
show.
you course correcting yourself. You do go really deep into telling completely unnecessary background
I
for
know,
the
I
story.
do.
I love it. But you just course corrected your talking yourself. Not now, Jess. Not
People don't
now.
need it. Most people have seen it also if they care. It doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
I do that because it's something my dad always does and has done, and I
Oh,
definitely got it from him. Um, but yeah, there's a whole thing about let her rip, and it's basically like somebody is telling the other person to like really send it when it comes to opening this restaurant. So it's not just
yeah.
about tootin', it's about
Okay.
fucking let her rip. Let's go, you know?
Yeah. What am I thinking? I don't know why. I don't know why I thought that.
I mean, it does also
I'm
have to do with
sorry.
that.
I'm
It's
sorry.
you're not incorrect. You just
Okay.
expand your horizons, you know?
Yeah, I know. I'm too open-minded. That's the young Republican in me.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, let her rip. Let her rip.
let her rip. Okay, I'm gonna start this off with a brag. I
I
went
love
to the
it.
gym. I went to the gym in the morning today,
Wow.
and that never happens. And I was just like, am I better than everyone?
Because you are.
I think I am.
That's what
Yeah,
happens. Yeah.
that's what happens. I felt that before I actually felt superior to people before I even got there. I just like had the idea to go in the morning and I was like, wow, I'm really good.
Oh yeah, and the fact that you got there,
I did get there.
if you had the idea, that's the first step to being better than
Yeah,
people. You don't even have to go through with it. Just having the idea puts you ahead
totally.
of the
I
curve.
agree. Cosign.
Actually showing up, I mean, you're better than
Now
most now.
I'm better than all. Yeah.
You could leave and go get a coffee and it would still be a triumph.
I actually agree. I actually agree. I did stay and actually work out, but I was kind of annoyed. It's a new gym. I showed up to my gym the other day and the door was locked. It was not a holiday. I never know when holidays are because obviously I don't work a corporate or what like
Mm.
regular job. So I'm always getting blindsided by MLK Day. Like every time, I never know when it's coming at me. Flag Day, I had no fucking idea. And but the door was locked. And I was like, is it Labor Day again? Like, I don't know. And then they just had a sign in the window that was like, we moved to another location. I was kind of pissed about it, miffed. Had to walk to the other location. It was actually way nicer. So I suddenly
Ooh,
have a way nicer gym for
how
the
much further is
same.
it?
It's closer.
What?
Yeah, I don't. I'm like, why? Okay. I was actually really pissed at first that it was like Memorial Day and I didn't know it, but then I got a way nicer gym. But they have the machines, like all the machines are different and they seem very nice, but I feel like all of the machines, and this applies to like most gyms, but especially how they've set it up in the new one, all the machines are just catering to like pumping men's titties. And I'm like, that's nice. And I get it because there's a lot of men in here and they're all worried about their titties. But like, can I get like a single hip thrust? Or like,
Right.
there's like, this doesn't help me. Literally 99% of this doesn't help me. And if you want to work on your ass, which you do, you're kind of just like thrown to the wolves. You're just like,
Right.
figure it out. You can
Go
put
in
some
that
free weights
room.
together. Yeah, get
Yeah.
in that fucking weird, shameful room alone with mirrors on all walls where
Yeah.
everyone can watch you.
That's
Like,
the
give me
ass
like,
room.
can I? That's the ass room of shame. Why can't I just have a machine like everybody else? I'm having to fucking like jerry rig all of my workouts together to work on this ass. And I'm kind of over it. There's like 40 different ways you can sculpt your tits in the gym in like a safe, like guided, comes with instructions situation.
Yeah, with
And
safety bars, everything. Yeah.
yeah, I was a little pissed about it. I don't know. That's a complaint I have.
That's a fair complaint.
Thank you.
I immediately want to go positive, but I'm not going to
Ugh,
do that.
that's something I hate about you, but
I know. I know it's hard.
no, why?
Um,
Dude, give me the positive. Give me the positive. I love it about you.
I
We're the
guess
balance.
I guess the other perspective that I would offer is
Ugh, do it.
you as a woman, if you train your chest, it's actually really good for your titties. It makes them perkier. Ever since I've
Yeah,
been
I
training like
know.
weightlifting and stuff, my boobs, which are heavy fucking boobs, sit much
Okay.
higher on my chest.
Okay.
So I would say, I mean, I happen to
I'm
really
not
like
saying, yeah,
chest
I'm not saying you
exercises,
can't.
but yeah,
Okay.
fair enough. It's catered towards men for the most part, and that's annoying.
I
They
mean,
don't have
for
enough
most
variety.
women, for no, yes, there is value to training your ladies' titties. But for most women, it's not the focus.
Yeah,
Whatever.
it's not the
Whatever.
focus. It's not the
And you know
focus.
what? Whatever. It's fine. Yeah.
Well, what machine do you want them to have that they don't have? Is there a specific one that like you used in the other gym?
Yeah, they actually had it and then all of a sudden they took it away. It's really just one. It is the hip thrust machine. And because it is such a setup to do a hip thrust, you need like a bench behind you, but a bench that won't move. You can't just put like
Yeah.
any step or whatever. You need a bench that won't move. You're gonna fucking kill yourself. You need like the what is it called? What's the
The
bar? Is it a
barbell.
barbell? Is it a fucking
Mhm.
barbell?
Mhm.
And like the weights and like you need them to be the right height or you get stuck under them or they'll fucking crush your rib cage. And like it's such the whole thing feels like such an ordeal to
Yeah.
set up. But it's such an important exercise for the ass.
It's so good.
You cannot replace it really anywhere else. You can do a non-weighted version very easily, but
You know, you could do it with dumbbells. I'm going to stop solving your problems and I'm going to
I know,
start
but if you want to
listening.
go heavy, but like I literally can't lift. I can't
Yeah, you
lift.
need heavier.
Girl, I'm lifting like 110 on the hip thrust right
Tell
now. I can't
us.
pick that up with my arms. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
We got a question in the DMs recently that made me actually didn't make me think a lot because I had an answer like immediately, but it kind of resonated and made me pause and kind of take stock of where I'm at in life right now. So I would like to share that.
Okay.
Um, I actually didn't take down the specific question, but like the specific wording, but the gist of it was basically this person is really busy with work and like defining themselves in their career in their 20s, and they're struggling to maintain their self-care amidst how busy they are. And they kind of were like, you two seem like you really prioritize your time for yourself or whatever. And how do you do that? What do you have tips for that? And as soon as I read it, I was like, the last month I have been the worst at taking care of myself. I've been so busy. I've been canceling all of my workouts. I've been to the gym like 3 times in the last month. I usually go 3 times a week. I've been not really like folding and putting away my laundry. It's just like little signals around my apartment where you can tell like, oh, she's not on top of it the way she usually is. And that's a reflection for me of like my internal world. If my external world that I live in every day, because I'm a very neat person, if that is looking a little messy, if I'm leaving dishes in the sink and I
Yeah,
definitely have
yeah, yeah.
time to do them, but I'm not doing them,
It's a
that's
reflection of what's
that's a
going on.
reflection of what's going on.
Mhm.
And so I looked at this message and was like, how did she know she's in my apartment? And I
Uh-huh.
was like, I think the only answer to how do you care for yourself, keep caring for yourself in moments when you're super, super busy and stressed and pulled in many directions is to say no, to start saying
Oh
no.
my God, that's exactly what I was just gonna say. This is a huge thing I'm on right now. Go on,
I
go on.
have to I've done it well in the past, but it just ebbs and flows. Like there have been periods of time in my life where I'm so good at saying no to things at work, to social things, to whatever things I'm just like that's going to overstretch me and
Yeah,
I'd rather take care of myself with that
yeah,
time and energy instead. And so there have been periods where I'm like rocking at that. And
yeah,
then there's other periods, usually the periods that are like extreme levels of busy and extreme levels of stress where I can no longer hold on to that like habit
mhm.
of saying no to the things that aren't working. And I'm saying yes to all the things that I take me away from myself. And I end up in a place where I'm not taking care of myself. So that
Yeah,
was my answer. I'm glad that it like immediately struck a chord with you. But
yeah.
once I saw that DM, I was like, oh, shoot, I got to work on this now. So thank you to that person. Let's do it
Yeah.
together. Like, I don't know.
I love the question. It's tough. And yeah, self-care. I think self-care does also involve those more um working out, getting yourself fed, getting yourself showered, seeing the people, um time for yourself. Sure, that is part of self-care, but like real self-care, in another way, those are also like chores sometimes.
Mm,
Real self-care is like honoring the way you're feeling, um, setting limits for yourself, taking the time to like get in touch with what is not working for you. That's what actual self-care is. Giving yourself a massage, like taking yourself to a spa, that's super nice. Do it. I won't say don't do it, but that's not there's more. that
Mhm.
like and also you don't need that. Like that's nice. Do it if you want to do it, but if you can't pay for a massage and you can't get to the gym, there are much deeper, I think, ways to. I mean, I think exercise is really important for your well-being, but there's a lot more to it than that. And I think I got it from was listening to an interview with some YouTubers or something, and they were talking about the influx of like requests or collaborations or contracts or work that will come up when you as a YouTuber at certain points, and that the hardest lesson they learned in running their business to survive was to have a default to no. The
Mm.
default is no. And which is just like basically what you just said, saying no more, but the concept of setting no as your default, um, I think maybe that sounds harsh, but if you're someone who's struggling with self-care, struggling to fit into self-care, your default is probably yes. Probably to and maybe a level that's deteriorating you. And so for me, having it hit me in the chest when I heard that. It felt so like what I was missing. So for me, setting my default as no actually means I'm landing somewhere in the middle. Like it's not making me a bitch. It's really just landing me at like a healthy middle spot. I'm still overriding it all the time, but having that idea in my head, defaulting to no, someone asks you something to do something. Maybe it's things you want to do, maybe it's things you could do, maybe it's things you should do, whatever, default to no. And if you want to change your mind about it after you've had more time to reflect, okay. But I feel like a lot of the things that kind of like fill up your life are things that you agree to in just a split second because you're so willing to please or you're scared to let down or you're feeling guilty. And so the pressure of like having to make the decision in the moment someone asks you to do something, whether it's for work or personal or family or friends or whatever, like if I can instead set my default to always be no, so I never have to like choose in the moment. And then later, if I want to reconsider, once I've given myself time, that's helped a lot. Yeah, I agree. That's like the biggest
I
thing
like
for
that.
me.
Yeah, I think I like the default to no concept a lot. I think it doesn't even always need to look like saying no immediately in the moment, although that can be really helpful
You're
to buy
right.
yourself more time.
You're
But it
right.
can simply be like in my mindset, the default is no. But if somebody asks me to do something and it's an immediate yes in my brain because it really aligns and it's something I want to do and it's whatever, it feels good to you. It's a hell yes. Some people use that terminology. You don't need to say no and then come back to them later. You know when it's a definite yes, and you can still say yes to the things that are definites. But yeah, it's when it's that like confusing middle ground where you're like, I like feel like I should do this, but do I have time to do it?
Yeah.
Like, la 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 la. Then it's a no, baby girl. And if you
But
change your mind, you
it
can
could
change your
actually
mind.
be, I
You
feel
could
like
say,
that's a
let
good
me get
point.
back to you.
I would say like maybe the best is like a default to let me get back to you. Super
Hmm.
interesting. Sounds great. Thanks for sharing. Let me get back. Like no matter what, you're gonna give yourself time to think about it, even if you know it's a hell yes, even if you know it's a hell
Yeah.
no. Just like you're not making calls in the moment. Um, maybe it's a default to let me get back to you. So you can give yourself the space a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get back to doing that. I feel like at work recently, I have been to despite my most earnest efforts to not become this, I feel like
Mhm.
I am regrettably becoming indispensable on my team. And I'm not saying that to toot
No,
up
that
my
is
own
a yeah,
ass.
yeah, no, that's a fucking danger zone.
I'm just
That's a
saying
danger
it because
zone,
it's
bro.
happening. And I didn't ask
Yeah,
for it. And my dad, it's
right.
so funny when I was growing up, you know, overachiever, like high performing young woman with a lot of high expectations that I was like very stressed about meeting. And so, whatever, I did well in school and I worked hard and I was always striving for more because that's what it was in the culture in my household and all these things, my school. And even though that was the case, And like my parents had put me in that school, and my parents established the culture in our household. And my parents are workaholics and overachievers. And that's what I saw modeled for me, and all these reasons. My dad would still tell me, you need to not set a precedent to people, to at work, at school, team members, whatever, that you can do all of the above, all the things you can do. You are capable of doing a lot, but you don't need them to know that. You don't need to set that precedent early and then find yourself trapped at the bottom of this endless pit because people know that you're good at what you do and they can rely on you, and there's more, more, more. There's always going to be more. Don't set a precedent early that you can do, that you can go above and beyond, and that you will.
Yeah.
And I would always be like, I agree with you logically, but you have made me this person. So like you can
Uh-huh.
say that now when you're in your 50s, 60s looking back. But like, how dare you, because you created this monster. And now I'm at work. I've been at this company for like a year and a half, and it came after my year of fun employment, finding myself, doing creative projects, when I had really reset and decided that my career wasn't going to be everything to me. And so I entered this job like super level headed, really thinking about that advice from my dad. Like, I'm not setting precedents that I'm working late, that I can do XYZ, everything that they need me to do all the time, whatever. A year and a half in,
Did he say at the time why he thought you shouldn't do that? Because I can see a million reasons why I would agree with him, but I think a lot of
yeah,
people listening could be confused about why. Did he say
sure.
why at the time?
I mean, I think it's just because it could be taken advantage of. It's like once people see that you're
Yeah.
willing to be a team player who works late, who tries to do that extra project that nobody really knows how to do, but you're like, oh, I can figure it out. I've kind of done that back in college. And so I can like try to figure out what the right way is, whatever. People will take advantage of that. And next thing you know, you're working way more than the role that you
I
signed
was
up
gonna say,
for,
yeah,
than the
you're
pay
doing
that you're making.
that's what I
Yeah.
hear from you all the time. You're asked to do jobs that is maybe a whole second person's job that you're not getting paid for.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll say is that like sometimes that can stop you from getting promoted because if you're someone who
Yes.
does a lot, they might not want you in a leadership position because then like if you're one that like some
They
of the
can
best
pay less.
engineers I knew they don't want you not to be available to solve bugs and jump on tickets and write code even though you're a very capable leader or manager, because like who would replace you doing that? I mean, it depends
Well,
what you're working towards, but I do agree.
well,
But
and
anyway, go on.
the
Yeah.
other thing is like I've been, the first part of my career was in consulting and like working up to being in management roles and things like that. And I was like hankering, as the only word that ever comes to my mind. I was like craving being a manager and achieving that promotion and that title and that level. But I was managing way before my title was manager, because
Hmm.
they saw that I was capable of doing that, and they didn't have to pay me a manager's salary when I was an associate or a analyst or a consultant doing a manager's work. They were like, great, she's managing the team and we get to pay her $20,000 less.
Yeah,
So it
totally.
also works that way oftentimes. So yeah, for all these reasons, that's the advice my dad has always given me. And I tried so hard to bring that to my energy at this job. But at some point, I've been there for a year and a half now. I think it worked at the beginning,
You were
but like
trying to be
over
incompetent and
time,
unreliable, but the real you shone through. That
it's
is a problem
shown
for you.
through.
That
It
is
is
a
a
problem for you. Because
problem.
you are a team player and you are a go-getter and you will go the extra mile and you're
And
fucked.
I'm good at a lot of things. Like lately, I've been making a lot of videos at work. I work in marketing, so videos are relevant in a way. But my job title, my role description, my team, none of it has to do with video and like creative development. There started to be here and there a request for a custom video, just this one time, please, please, please. I'm like, all it is like cutting up a couple clips. Anybody can do that in iMovie. Okay. Next thing you know, last week I made like 5 different videos in a week, plus doing the videos for the podcast. which I have not told a soul that I make videos for the podcast, but maybe they've found out.
Yeah.
It's just a
Yeah.
neighmare. So
Okay. So what are you trying to do?
anyway,
You're trying to do less, or are you trying to
I
I mean,
I
all of
don't
this, I guess
know.
it all depends what your goal is. Some people don't
Yeah.
want to be management, some people don't want to be a leader. Some people really like executing. But if your
Yeah.
goal is to be a leader, you don't want to be
In the
someone they
weeds.
can't afford to do without on the execution level.
I
Because
mean,
then
I
why would they ever make you a leader?
I don't really care about being a leader on the team because that's just not my goal going into this job. I have been
Mm-hmm.
on that track before, and I know if I wanted that, I could get it, but it's not my goal here. That being said, I'm not super money motivated in general, but I obviously recognize that it's important and I obviously live a certain level of lifestyle that I want to support. And I guess it's more um like the principle of the thing where I'm like, if I'm doing a lot more work that isn't technically in my role, I should be getting paid more.
Yeah.
So I do think that that's a little bit of like what I'm starting to think about and realize
Yeah.
with this. And then the other thing that I've been trying to do is train other people on my team to do these same activities, like create videos and, how do I do that? What I created like a to do like recorded my computer screen and like walked through how I do certain editing and stuff. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping that by also spreading it out across team members, it's not like always on me. So I don't know. It's like super work related talk, but maybe that's helpful to people if they're
I
in a
think it probably
similar
applies.
situation.
I think it applies to a
Yeah.
lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But
tough.
it's like, I don't know. I was working late and it goes back to the context switching that we've talked about where I'm in and out of meetings during the day for work. And video editing is the type of task that I need like a focused couple of hours
Yeah.
to really dig into. And I can't often do that during the day when I'm in and out of meetings every 30 minutes, every hour, whatever. So I've ended up working late as a result. And
Oh,
that's one of those things where I'm like,
that's a
that's
no
on
no,
me.
baby. That's a no
That's
no.
on me to not allow that boundary to be crossed. And I've fucked it up the
That's
last 2 weeks.
that's hard though, because what do you do when people you don't always have control over when meetings are scheduled? Like easy to say in theory, I won't allow to schedule this, but like if these are the responsibilities that you have agreed to for now and you don't control when all the meetings are, what the hell do you do? What's your solution to that? Or you go talk to like whoever
I told my
is
manager about it. Like the reason I'm feeling okay talking on the podcast about it is because
wait,
I've,
wait, wait. My audio just paused again.
oh shoot,
Hold on.
Caroline's audio paused. We're
Abby,
holding.
my audio paused. So Jess, let's resync. I don't know why the fuck it's doing this.
That's really weird.
Jess, I'm gonna ask you how you're doing. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. It's a minute 58 seconds or bleh, an hour and a minute.
Okay. Mine
101.
was at 140. Okay, cool. Keep going.
Okay. Um Yeah, I think I was saying the reason I even feel comfortable talking about this on the podcast, because I don't know who from my work listens, but I know that they can. It's out there. Is because I have talked to my manager about this and like she's super supportive and trying to figure out the right kind of like path out of this current situation for me with me.
Yeah. You must have a
Um,
good manager.
so I don't remember what your question was, but for some reason that was my that was my answer. Just like, I don't know,
I was
becoming
asking what
aware
would
of the
you do?
problem
Yeah,
is
what
the
would you
first step.
do? But
Telling
yeah, that's
people.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, not trying to handle it all on your own. Well,
Yeah.
good. Your dad was right.
He's so often right. It's so annoying.
Say.
I can say something little.
Okay, say something little, cutie pie.
Here's something little. I'm just a little girl with a little thought.
Ooh, dirty.
How do I even phrase it? How do I talk? Let me remember.
Okay.
I recently, within the last couple months, have realized that I need white noise to sleep, and I've never needed that before. But the the like HVAC in my apartment creates a white noise sound, and I got so used to it that whenever it's not on, because it's like very temperate outside right now, I can't fall asleep without the whirring of the AC or the heater.
Mm, mm,
So I started to use white noise tracks like sleep sounds on Spotify, and I just set the 30-minute timer, and like it works pretty well for me. The other day, somebody told me that like I should listen to this song, and I opened my Spotify, and the first thing that popped up was the white noise, and I cannot describe the level of embarrassment that made me feel.
Wait, you
Like,
were where?
the last thing that I listened to on Spotify wasn't music, wasn't a podcast. It was white noise because I'm like an old, stressed out, middle-aged mom.
Hag.
Hag, a fucking hag. That's what it made me feel. I don't even think they could see it on my phone next to me. I think I was like, it was just me and myself, me faced with my
Uh,
own truths. And I
that's
was
so
like, this is
funny.
a nightmare.
I'm a nightmare. The reality of my life is a nightmare.
It's like, okay, so remember to listen to music every day so that this doesn't happen again. First thing
That's
in the
so
morning.
funny. Oh, that's so funny. That's one of those things that it's like one of those little what is it? Like tangible things that reflects on your maybe on your mental health or how kind of how you're talking about with
Yeah,
like neglect, if your sink is full of dishes or something. I'm trying to think of what the other things are. Like usually it's like the amount of like peanut butter jars I have
right.
around.
The
It
like
reflects like
takeout
how well I'm
containers.
doing. It's never
Yeah,
takeout for me. It'll be usually I never order takeout, but I'll just be like
that's
I'll eat
good.
peanut butter instead of like I don't have groceries
Yeah, or like
or
cereal. I'm just eating cereal for dinner every
cereal.
day. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was one
that's
of those.
awesome.
And I was faced with it during the day. And I was like, it's not nighttime yet. Like, I can't look at this in the light. Are you kidding?
Sleep
It
sounds.
was harrowing.
I used to, there was a period where I really liked falling asleep to thunder, which is like a whole sleep sound
Yeah.
category. It's a sleep sound kink, just like thunder. But then it kind of became, it felt the same as when I'd be like racing through different porn categories too, where like you need a specific version
Yeah.
of it or it doesn't do it for you. And I would spend like an hour looking for the right kind of thunder sound. And then I was like, this is becoming a problem. And like nothing was ever correct. Um, yeah, I don't know.
I know
That's what I have
exactly
to
what you
add.
mean. I know exactly what you mean. It's like you need it in a certain pitch and at a certain speed and with a certain amount of like rain sounds with it, but not too much rain, like more focus on the thunder. I know what you mean because that's how I felt when this is going back to like our second episode. This is how I felt when I tried to use audio porn apps, like just listening to
Yeah, but it
people
wasn't quite right.
making sexual sounds or whatever and talking. Yeah, it just was never like the right sound of voice and like tone and cadence, and it just always
No, it's
felt like a
never
stranger.
correct.
It's probably
That's
because I don't know those
why
people.
that's why, yeah, talking to Justin about it this week, I used to watch porn. I don't watch it that much anymore. And then when we were talking more about like fantasies and like visualization and shit, I was like, I basically am watching porn though. I have like hundreds and maybe thousands of like scenarios I can like describe in intimate detail that I've come up with in my mind. It's just like
Mm,
I'm doing it in my mind. I have a full porn library, like a catalog.
she's a
Um,
creator.
and there's no bad acting in it. There's no weird costumes. There's no like human trafficking or human rights
Yeah.
violations or like women who aren't that into it. I can make it perfect. And yeah, I don't know, it kind of made me reevaluate. I think that is why I like reading. I don't even do like erotic literature that much anymore, but that was nice because like there's no bad acting, there's no people like being visibly exploited or something. You can kind of imbue it with whatever.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but I feel the same about Thunder Sounds as I do about I guess most online porn, I guess.
I feel that way. Well, I guess just talking about porn and how to, not
Totally.
even porn, but just how to get yourself like in the mood.
Not even porn? Oh, okay. Yeah,
Not
what
even
gets you in the
porn. Well,
mood?
I've said
What
that I
gets you in the
don't
mood?
really watch porn.
Right.
I do feel like I have a library of like a few scenes, whether it's things I've created that I've never seen and I've never done, or
What's a
it's
weird one?
things
Come on,
that
tell us a
like,
weird one.
well,
Tell
it's
us a
stuck,
weird
obviously
one.
the stuckness. obviously I've talked
Okay.
about
Yeah,
it.
tell us something new that's weird. Tell us something new.
I
Tell
don't
us
have
something
any.
else.
Do I have any new ones? I don't know. I'll get to it. But and then some of them are like stories from my sexual history. Although I'm
Yeah.
not really thinking about like the person when I do that.
No, it's always a faceless. It's always
It's
like a
faceless.
faceless. It's
Even if it's
faceless.
something I've done with someone before, they're not relevant. It's just like the thing that happened. Um, so that I pull from that.
The emotional environment for is what it
Yeah,
is for me.
for me, it's probably like, yeah, maybe emotional environment, like the actions, the way, the speed of, and the type of touch and things like that. You know what I mean?
Totally.
um, I feel like I'm hitting my table so much. I apologize, Abby. So, but then something I've realized only in the last recently, speaking of Spotify, is like I
In the
also
last
definitely
recently,
have songs that turn me on like
porn
almost
songs.
immediately. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I do have a sex playlist, although it doesn't get used very much.
Oh,
But I have a sex
oh.
playlist that like I used to use. I would use it like when I had a new, like when my boyfriend and I were first hooking up, or before that with maybe one or two other people. Like,
Oh my God, you recycled songs?
yeah, it's just my go-to sex
Oh my God, I
playlist.
cannot. I cannot. No, I
Really?
cannot. I
Well, those
cannot.
people didn't mean anything to me. And then
Okay,
he started to
maybe.
mean something to me. And then we stopped using music.
No, I can't. I can't. Oh, I have experienced that though. No,
You know
first
what
of
I
all,
mean?
can't recycle sex songs. But yeah, I also feel like I only needed music more when like things feel awkward
A new
earlier on.
person. Yeah,
Now I'm just humming and singing the whole
that's cute.
time. That's a joke. That's a joke. I'm not doing that.
I wouldn't believe
Um,
that it's a joke based on the embrace I saw earlier, but yes.
okay. No, I can't.
You can't
No,
recycle.
I can't recycle sex songs. No.
I I well, probably at this point I wouldn't be able to recycle any of them, but I don't know. When it was people who like, I don't know, you go on a first date and you're like, I'll
Yeah.
just bring them home, whatever, and it's like
Yeah.
not
And they're
anybody I
not even
care
it's not
about.
really a sex song. It's just like you're listening to a song and they happen to be having sex with you. It's
Yes,
like just
exactly.
it's just a weird coincidence.
It's a soundtrack that you've
First of
just
all, I'm gonna put in
played.
my AirPods. I feel like we should both. Why can't we all just put in AirPods during sex and everyone can listen to what they like
What
one
they
of those
want,
silent discos?
because you'd
What?
be
Because
on
what's
totally
really
different
bad.
rhythms if
Well,
you're
that's
actually
true. That's true.
listening.
Do you ever fuck to the music? But sometimes I catch
Sometimes you
myself.
have to.
Sometimes you have to, and sometimes I'm like, this is weird right now that I'm humping to the music
I
to a
know.
beat.
Oh my God, I know. But then you're like, they're doing it too. So like it's fine because we're both doing it. I know
I guess
exactly
it'd
what
be
you're
weird
talking
not to,
about.
but sometimes I'm like, this is crazy. This is crazy of me. But what's really bad is when I feel very auditorily sensitive, if I may say. Yes, I will say. I feel auditorily sensitive, and if the song is wrong,
It'll throw it all off.
I literally can't. I literally cannot. I can't get there. It's very distracting to me. I can't
Okay.
even think of a good example, but a lot of like indie rock, I can't I'm no longer sexual with you. I can't do it.
No.
No.
No, I think I'm okay at tuning it out,
Oh, I cannot.
but yeah, one time this guy put on we literally had already started making out and taking clothes off, and he was like, "Wait, let me put on music." And I was like, "This is so unnecessary. Where you already have me here. We're doing it. Like, you don't need the warm up. You don't need a track. It's fine. I'm already agreeing to do this with you." But he got up and he put on Justin Bieber music videos, and I was
Interesting.
like, I'm gonna ignore that this is happening.
Oh, that's
It,
tough.
it was
Oh, that's
not only
tough.
is it music,
Well,
but it's
what
you
music
needed the
video?
visual.
Well, which one?
Um,
If it is it him singing "Baby" at 12? Because that's
what
not
was
gonna work
that?
for me.
No, it was one of the ones that played is this kind of sadder song or like slower romantic song, and I didn't need that
Interesting.
with this one night person. And yeah, I don't know. It was just really unnecessary. So I think I'm able to tune it out. But if it's my playlist and it's like songs that I've curated and I like,
It's good. It is
then
good to have a
it's
playlist.
good. R&B, Anderson .Paak every time.
Okay.
I love Anderson .Paak. Anyway,
I don't even
Now
know
I'm
who that
getting horny.
is.
Oh my
Are you
gosh.
getting horny?
Anderson .Paak is so
I hate the word
hot to
horny.
me.
Okay,
Horny. Yeah,
Anderson
let's come
Paak.
up with a different
I
word.
fucking hate the word horny. Anderson
He's
Paak.
very
I do
like
say it, but I don't like it.
nerdy,
Anderson.
trendy, funky.
Ew, Paak with two A's. That's kooky.
Yeah, his
Anderson
music is
Paak.
very sensual.
Okay,
If
I've seen
anyone
like
needs a rec.
12, like 14 different pictures of him in a beanie, which doesn't, that does not do it for me. That does not do it for me. I
Yeah, he
understand that
does do that a lot.
he's objectively very, very cute. Great
He's a
smile, but
cutie. He's so.
Anderson Paak,
I have
great
a story
smile,
about
very good
him.
smile. Okay, what is it?
I was in LA a few months ago, like earlier this year, and I was at a club in West Hollywood with my friends, which is like first and last time I'll ever say that sentence. And it was like I wasn't really having that great of a time. I was really tired. It's like not really my scene, very crowded, very 22-year-olds. I was just ready to go back to my Airbnb.
Okay.
So, and it was like already 1 a.m. or something. So I was like, okay, guys, I'm calling an Uber. I'll see you tomorrow. I left. And then 5 minutes later, Kai, my best friend from Chicago, we went on this trip together, texts me and she's like, I'm so sorry. We're in the elevator leaving now, and Anderson .Paak is in the elevator with us. I'm so sorry.
She's not that sorry if
She
she
was
texted you
not
about
sorry.
it. You could have gone on just not knowing about that. She wasn't that
She could have
fucking
told me
sorry.
the next day. I
She
know.
she was feeling pretty good about it.
She
Kai,
was
I'm
very
calling you
happy.
out.
She
Not
was
sorry
very
enough.
happy. The next
She
day,
was happy. Mr.
when I
Punk.
met up with them, oh wait, the video's getting delayed weirdly. When I met up with them the next day, they had already told me about it. Kai told me about it via text. And then we got breakfast the next day, a group of us, and I had to like listen to it again as though I hadn't already been informed that I missed out on this. And I just had to play it so cool. Like, oh, yeah. Oh, and he complimented your glasses. Wow. Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't give them anything.
I
You
was
wouldn't
so
give them anything
tired.
away?
I was so tired last night. Yeah, yeah. My Uber driver kind of flirted with me, so okay. Yeah.
And he actually looked a little bit like Anderson Paak.
Yeah.
So
He was wearing a beanie, so it was similar.
yeah. I Googled Anderson .Paak a lot last night. So it sounds like we had
So
pretty
yeah,
similar nights.
once you texted me, I listened to his whole album, so that was really good for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry Kai
Okay.
did you so dirty.
You know, that's what 15 years of friendship will do. You can just be yourself, even if it's conniving, and I still have to love her.
You nasty, dirty girl.
Yeah. What are you doing tonight? Are you doing anything fun?
Ooh, I'm gonna kiss Justin so much.
Oh my
Number one.
God, cool.
Oh my God.
I would have never guessed. That's cool.
Yeah. We're gonna kiss probably. And oh yeah, I don't have anything else to say. I have no other plans.
You're just hanging out at home.
I just want to cuddle and hang out. Yeah.
That
I
sounds nice.
had a pretty long work day. So I'm ready to chill. No great plans. What are your plans, bitch?
Well, it's First Fridays, so I'm going
Yeah.
to meet up with a group of friends for happy hour. Still going strong. I feel like I get a good turnout of like at least 6 people every
That's nice.
time, which is
That's
cool.
nice. I wish I knew 6 people. That's amazing.
It is cool to know 6 people. Yeah, no more and no less.
Mhm.
6 is the magic number.
Right.
So yeah, doing that. What else? This weekend's the Chicago Marathon, and I have a friend in town running it, and I both hate and love that for me.
Have I talked about marathons on here already?
I don't know if we've talked about them. I actually do have thoughts on marathons, and
I
they're
can't
not what people would
remember.
expect.
Okay, let's hit this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Or not quick at all. I went to my first marathon. It was actually a half marathon I went to for my friend. I think I talked about it in a YouTube video. That's why I'm confused. But I showed up, a friend asked me to come. I don't have a lot of friends to do marathons, whatever. So it was the first time I went, and I had the time of my fucking life.
Yeah.
I went alone. I like couldn't find her boyfriend or the group of friends or like anyone. I could not find her, the rest of her support people. I was there alone, and I was shocked. I was shocked that I had the time of my fucking life. Let me say this. You guys know, how I feel about good vibes. But let me tell you what, the energy was so positive. The energy was so good. I was like fucking high. I think we were all fucking high.
I know.
Just cheering people on. I was hooping. I was hollering. I was like clapping at people. Everyone's yelling back and forth. I will say that I had the time of my fucking life. I will never run a marathon. Stupidest thing you could ever do. Never in my life. Why would you do that? I'm so into attending marathons now. I was hanging out, cheering on people. I was there alone. I didn't know anybody. Like,
Yeah.
it was so beautiful. I will also say, at a certain point, it kind of looked like a white people parade, a parade of like the city being like, these are all of our
Our
longest
best
white
ones.
people.
Yeah.
And it was like, it went down like by the Capitol, and it felt like the government was like parading around their most eligible white people. It was like, at a certain point, it felt weird. I don't
Right.
know. I don't know what to say about that. I think I would have appreciated a little more diversity. I would have
Okay.
felt more comfortable. But beyond that, I had a great time.
Really good call out, the diversity shout.
I
Yeah.
didn't like that part. I didn't like feeling like I was at a white people parade.
My sister ran a marathon in like probably exactly a year ago in DC, and I flew home to go cheer her on. It was her first marathon, and I had the exact same experience. I had the most fun day. I couldn't even
Yeah.
believe it. I've had friends run marathons before, but I had never attended because I was like, "Oh, you're running. Like we're not going to be able to hang out. What's
No, it
the
sounds
freaking point?"
annoying. Yeah, it
Yeah,
sounds annoying
I
when
don't get
people
it. Like,
invite
do
you
you
on.
want to go to brunch after? Like, I'll meet you at the restaurant. So,
Yeah.
but it was my sister and she had been training so hard and I went and it was so fun running around the city,
So
meeting
fun.
her. I found her at like 6 different stops. I was like emotional
Cute.
with her.
Totally. Because by the time you show up there, it's so funny because when you have a friend or your sister, whoever going through, well, I guess I don't know how you feel about your sister. When I have friends sharing about their training for a marathon, like, first of all, no one gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck when you're training for a marathon. But then when you show up to the marathon, you do
It
know how much
clicks.
they've put into it and how much they've like how hard it's been and how much it's taking them. At that point, you do care. And it felt very emotional. It felt
Yeah.
like tuning into like the last few minutes of the Rocky movie or
Totally. I was
something.
like, she sacrificed so much every Saturday. Like it was so dramatic. Because it's something I would literally never do. I won't be doing one. I don't even
No,
run, let alone
shan't
running a
be.
marathon.
No.
So that part of it as well was just like watching somebody do something that I can guarantee you, and I'm such a never say never person, and yet I can promise I will never run a marathon. It just doesn't even interest me, let alone
Right.
capabilities and training
Oh, no,
wise and
you
everything.
definitely could. You
Anybody
absolutely could
can if
run a
they
marathon.
train for it, but I'm
You
not
could,
going to.
but you won't. You literally won't.
I literally won't.
Right.
But
That's what's important.
that awareness while watching her do it was like, I don't know, astonishing. And
I
then,
think I'm gonna cry. Yeah.
oh my God, I was so emotional. I was so
Oh,
emotional. I
Caitlin.
ran from like mile 22 towards the end of the marathon, was right by the Roslyn metro stop in DC. And so I was the leader of Caitlin's group of friends who were in from out of town and my parents going around DC and trying to catch her at as many stops along the race as we could. And the last
Okay.
stop was that we were going to see her at before the finish line was mile 22. We had to take the metro to get there. I'm like following her on the app, but it's not really working. And I'm like kind of timing things with my estimates of where she'll be when.
Yeah,
And
the marathon technology is piss poor.
right. And I
We'll say.
pop up from the Roslyn Metro and I was like, I'm running. You guys, if you see her, great. I think we're about to miss her. I'm gonna run from the metro down to where the marathon track is and try to catch her. And I sprinted so out of
Yikes.
breath, so out of shape, like not
She's the
while
real
this marathon's
athlete. Jess is the
happening.
real hero of this marathon. That's
Sprinted
amazing.
down the
You
hill.
ended up running a marathon that
Yeah,
refused
it
to
was
admit it. You
downhill, and I was
just
like,
admit
fuck.
that you ran a marathon.
But I literally got there. I shit you not, 60 seconds later, Caitlin runs by. Like I truly would have missed her if
Beautiful.
I didn't
I would have
run.
cried.
And she was like almost walking at this point, like so
Oh.
broken, so tired.
It's kind of fucking brutal what they do. It's not natural. It's
Insane.
not
And
natural.
I like held her and like walked with her and was like,
What?
keep going. It was a crazy, I
What?
felt like
What?
I
It's like
felt
being
like
in a
this is what going to
battle.
war was like. Yeah.
See, okay, so that's why actually, listen, nothing against you if you run marathons, but I actually do feel like that's why some people who are like adrenaline junkies or into the extreme stuff, I feel like they wish they could be sent into a war. And
Yeah,
so, but
a
they
little.
can't because they're just like living a fluff life. And so instead,
This is my
instead,
sister completely.
yeah, instead it's like most of us. It's most of us. I'm living a fucking fluff life, and I'm not going to war, and I'm not running a marathon.
Right.
So like, don't feel insulted, or do, but like, I'm the most insulted.
I
And so
see it
you're
as a
like,
compliment. Yeah.
yeah, you're like creating little war like trench like experiences for yourself so that you can feel alive. I mean, I respect it. I don't feel alive and I won't do it. And when I went to the marathon, let me clarify, I didn't catch my friend once. I didn't see her the entire
That's so
time.
fun. And you still had a blast.
I had a blast. I didn't see her one time. I missed her, and it never occurred to me to start running to catch her up. I was like in a wool coat. I was like, what am I gonna I'm not gonna like
Fluff,
walk at a
literally
fast
fluff.
clip. No, you want me to walk at a fast clip? No. I just cheered on strangers I didn't know, and I had a great time.
That part is also fun. Yeah, I agree about the like going into battle thing. Caitlin is training to
Yeah,
eventually do a
totally.
to eventually do an Ironman. And
Yeah,
so
I
the
knew that's what you
marathon
were
is
gonna
just a
say. I
step.
fucking knew that's what you were gonna say.
Oh my God, she's done a
Yeah, they're
triathlon,
ill. They're ill. They're ill.
but she's also like currently at home with her puppy, fucking like drinking a little coffee and watching
Okay.
Only Murders and holding her puppy in her fluffy chair. So fluff life,
Fluff life.
but wanting to
Plus
battle.
plus
That's
an Iron
totally right.
Man.
Yeah.
It's correct. It is better than what I do, which is fluff life plus nothing to counterbalance it.
Oh no, my version of that is I texted you about this, but I signed up to do another stand-up course. I haven't done one in a couple years, and I've been really craving doing stand-up and doing like live on stage performance again. So I signed up for a
Nice.
class. I'm really excited about it. I also think like the place that I'm at with my work right now really pushed me to be like, I have to find something to make me feel alive because
Yeah.
this isn't working, just like
I'm
the nine
about
to
to
five.
end it all. Yeah,
Right.
totally.
I feel like some people would look at that and look at like what you do on YouTube, even our podcast, and would be like, that's like the battling, that's the feeling alive. Like you're doing something that so many people would be too afraid to do, especially
Oh,
stand up.
I do think it's a similar thing of that's the
Yeah.
way you feel alive. I do think it is. I think for some people it comes in their extracurricular, for some people it comes in their career moves. I actually do think it's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, just giving you credit. You're not just a fluff.
Oh, okay.
You're a
You're
fighter.
complimenting me? Okay, I'm
Yeah,
not a fighter.
we always end on compliments.
No, I'm a fluff. I'm a fluff. This has been not for everyone. We're two couple fluffs. You can find us on Instagram, not for everyone pod with a number 4. This podcast was edited and produced by Abby Newhouse. I love you.
I love you,
Thank you.
listeners.
No, that's rude. You're saying that because
No,
I
I
did
don't
that
even
last
know
time.
them. I love you.
You love me, you stupid bitch.
Justin.
Justin, could you hear
Okay.
that?
Did he say he
Justin
loves
loves you
me or
too.
you, Caroline, or both?
I think he loves you. I don't think he
He-
loves me.
okay, not for everyone. He loves not for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah,
Not for everyone. He loves some.
big fan.
He's just a fan of not for everyone. Justin is honestly one of our biggest fans. Every episode, he listens to every episode. He is not required to. He listens to every episode and then he sends reaction.
I love
He
it.
sends me reactions. It's great. Anyway, that's pretty annoying of
TTY.
me. TTYL
Oh, let's
fuckers.
both go get kisses now.
Okay,
Okay,
get your
time to
kisses.
get
Bye,
kisses.
bitch.
Bye.
Bye. So Abby cut the episode there. Jess, do you want to leave in the part about the review?
I'm
I
not
don't need
sure.
to. I'm
I
happy
don't
to cut it
either.
out. I'm happy to never address it.
I agree. That
I
was
don't need to.
therapeutic for us to discuss, but let's cut it. I totally agree.
Yeah,
Because it
I
like
don't think we
literally
need to.
wasn't my intention either. But
Sorry, I
obviously,
dug it
once I
because
bring
I
it
dug
up,
into it. I know if you bring up any kind of negativity,
you're gonna
I'm
want
dig
to
into
dig
it.
into it, and I never like process that in real time.
It
But anyway,
it truly will continue to happen. It's gonna happen so much more. It's gonna
yeah.
happen so